Well, thank you very much, Pam. Do you know that Pam put off surgery so she could be with us today? That's commitment. Thank you, Pam. Thank you so much, Heather, for hosting us once again. It is always good to be at the YWCA. So glad the Attorney General, Chris Bentley, was able to join us this morning. You know, we are celebrating a number of things, I think, today. Certainly, we are celebrating the launch of flu. I think this is the day that flu takes flight. There are so many puns, and I won't. I promise you, I won't use all the ones that have been going through my head. But today also marks a very important day because it is a day we can look to that collaboration works. You're quite right that we took a bit of a leap to use. It's a different way of doing something, to have a collaboration led by, it was a different way of doing business for OWD, for the Ontario government, and I think we can say it works, and it's a model that we will continue to use because the work that you did to inform the product that is about to be revealed is just a tremendous model. So thank you very much for doing it so very, very well. Do want to give a bit of a shout out to Susan Seeby and Joan Andrew and all the other people at OWD for making this work. I think they don't often get the praise they deserve. So thank you. As I was thinking about today, I did think back to 3 years ago when it was almost 3 years ago that the Ontario Legislature passed the legislation that would ensure one law for all Ontarians. It was a difficult debate, and I think everyone here needs to understand that it was a very difficult debate. But if ever you are asked why it's important that more women get involved in politics, I want you to think of 4 words: Sharia law, child poverty. Because those initiatives, I do not think would have gained the prominence that they have without the really hard work of women in our caucus. So it really does matter, and I urge you all to support the women who are running for office, because it does matter. No offense, Minister Bentley, to the men, but there are some issues that women just get more than men. But when we were going through that difficult decision-making, it became very clear to us that changing the law was an important step, but the communication, getting into the communities that were marginalized, that were vulnerable, was every bit as important. And what was fascinating for me as a member of Women's Caucus then was to hear from other women caucus members who were concerned not about the one particular faith that we were talking about, but other marginalized women in their community. I know that our rural caucus had real concerns about communities within their constituency that they felt also could be would not have the rights that others have, that they could be pressured into making decisions that they didn't have to make. So this is not just an issue that deals with one faith by any means, and that's why seeing it in 11 different languages kind of communicates that idea that we're talking about all marginalized women, all women. So I just want to say congratulations. Thank you so much. You have done an outstanding job, and I'm just really, really proud to be associated with this initiative. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Minister Matthews. As many of you will know, and some of you were here just over 2 weeks ago, when Attorney General Chris Bentley introduced a package of family law reforms that will themselves increase access to justice. We are always happy to have the Attorney General with us, but I think particularly so in this circumstance, because we think that the flu project fits extremely collaboratively with the package of law reform that, if you don't know about it yet, I encourage you to visit the Attorney General website and have a read, because we have some very exciting possibilities in terms of improvements to restraining orders in particular, but also touching on a number of other areas of family law. So, Mr. Bentley, if I could ask you to come forward.
Well, thank you very much, Pam. Delighted to be back. Delighted to be back with my colleague Deb Matthews, who, like me, is from London. There is a very strong London connection here. I want to thank you, Pam, my colleague Deb Matthews, so many in this room and beyond, for what we were able to start just a couple of weeks ago in terms of family law reform. You're absolutely right. You are a very powerful, persuasive, determined group. And without that power, persuasiveness, and determination, we might not have been standing here 2 weeks ago to introduce those very important family law changes, which will, if they are passed, finally better protect women and children. It was a great privilege for me to be able to stand with you. I'm delighted to stand here again. I'm delighted to stand here again and celebrate what FLU has accomplished. Thanks, Minister Matthews, for your Women's Directorate and funding this type of collaborative project. You know, sometimes we assume that when you pass it, that's it. You pass a law, good, we finished with that, we can just go away now because, you know, the law will do what it's supposed to do and everybody will be happy. But that's not the way it works. Having practiced for 25 years, it's enormous, the gulf between what the legislators think they have accomplished by passing a law and what people are actually aware of in terms of the application of the law, how it protects them or doesn't protect them, how they have to move to establish what their rights are or benefit from the laws that have been passed. And you know, for years, people have said, well, you've got to write laws in language that people understand. I think that's a lost cause. You'll never get lawyers to speak a language that everybody else understands. I am one. So we have to translate it, just as you have done today. We have to translate it because people don't have access to the law unless they can understand what the law does and doesn't do. And that can't simply mean that we have to have everybody buddy up with a lawyer. It has to be more than that. Knowledge is power. We need knowledge of the law. We need knowledge of the law in a way that we can easily access it. You know, a couple of months ago, we launched something called Justice Ontario. And Justice Ontario has a very simple concept. It says, take anybody passing by on the street, anybody, of any particular background, educational knowledge of the law, and ask them what their legal question is and ask them where would they go to find out information about that. And so we set up Justice Ontario so that people would have some street-level access to legal issues in easy-to-understand language through a toll-free number and a website in 173 different languages. The idea is to get street-level access to move them on to the next level of access. And what's really exciting here is that you have taken such complicated, perplexing issues and you've put them in language that people can easily access. You've opened the door to the law. That's knowledge, that's power, that's access. It's an incredible thing that you've done. I'm so pleased at being here for its official launch. I have my secret copy of the materials. It is, as you say, very strategically linked with what we're trying to do in terms of Justice Ontario, and I'm looking to working with you and the many collaborators on this project further as we ensure that all people, first among equals, women and children, have access to the law that they must. Thank you very much.